Please welcome our next panelist to the stage.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 10th anniversary of Council Room. How many of you have been here all 10 years? How many of is this number one? Anyone here? Thank you. Our new members are always, we always value our new members. We value our longtime members too, but our new members keep us going. It's my pleasure to introduce our guest of honor for tonight. He played Luke Smith on the Sarah Jane Adventures. Let's welcome Tommy Knight. Have a seat. Hey. Hey. Minnesota. First time here, right?
Yeah, no.
So what happened? What'd you do yesterday here in Minnesota?
Yesterday we popped to the mall. I popped to the mall. I got the bus over to the mall. I arrived very early because I'm still a little bit on English time, so I woke up at about 6 o'clock in the morning. Tried to go back to sleep, couldn't, and then ended up. I think I was at the mall at about 9 o'clock, and I found out that nothing opens until 11. So I wandered around for a few hours. I sat there and looked at the little the pennies in the pond there, and then I walked back, which was a lovely walk through the snow.
Yeah,
I really liked it. I was blinded by the snow. I didn't realize that I had to bring my sunglasses. I couldn't see. I was like this the whole journey back. And then I went for a lovely walk in the wilderness. Here I went to the refuge by myself. Walked around for a little while. I saw a family of deer, which was just beautiful. They were off into the woods a little bit, and I had these snowshoes on, and I thought, I'm going to chase them down. I'm allowed to go off track here. So I decided to try and get a close-up picture of this family of deer, and they were all standing still looking at me. And I walked maybe about 100 foot towards them, and then my snowshoe got caught on a root, and I pulled my sock out, and I plunged it into about 3 foot of snow. This is when I was like a good hour's walk away from anything. So I had to take a lovely walk back with a cold, wet foot.
The Minnesota
and the deer ran
initiation.
Yeah. I think the deer ran off after I made some very high-pitched, squealy noises.
I don't think there's a person in here that has had to make a long walk with a wet shoe and is not a good feeling. Audience, right?
Yeah. Oh, I feel you.
You learn
that first moment where you feel the first bit of snow inside your shoe, and you're like, "Oh, that's cold." I didn't realize how warm I was beforehand. You feel it trickle down onto your shoe. Yeah, brilliant. Great.
Nothing worse than that, let me tell you. So today you decided to take Sophie for a walk in the wilderness.
With my expertise and everything I've learned, I thought it'd be a great idea to go on, Sophie. I'll show you the way. We'll take this different route that I haven't taken before. We ended up having the most beautiful chat, actually. What a lovely part. I've never met Sophie before, so we spoke so much about life and family and friends and conventions. We covered a broad range of topics, and then 2 hours later, we realised that we'd been following a river far away, and we needed to be back here in 50 minutes. Sophie's phone was dead, and I have no 3G connection, so I couldn't use a map.
They found the Minnesota River. Congratulations.
Yeah.
But luckily, Sophie did make it in time for her autograph session and her photo session and her interviews. We're thankful for that.
Yeah, I had to give a very nervous phone call to Anton, a guest liaison. Be like, Hi, Anton. So we're needed back at the hotel in about 50 minutes, and we're not going to make it. Please, could you come and rescue us? We don't quite know where we are. We just spoke to a man for 5 minutes to try and get some advice, and he was no help either. He said there's a car park somewhere down this road that we're walking, so I think it's called Cedar something. Can you find us? That was about the sum total of what I said to Anton, and I could hear this heavy sigh and him going, I'm on my way.
They made it to the Cedar Avenue Bridge, so that's good.
Yeah.
So, you've been acting a long time.
Yeah.
How old were you when you first started acting?
So I think I started doing dance when I was about 4 or 5. I saw my older brother in a local pantomime of Peter Pan, it was. And I just remember, it was the first stage show I've ever seen, and I was like, Mum, I have to be a part of this. Like, I really wanted to do the dancing. So I did some dancing at just like a local dance school near us, a bit of ballet. And they sent me up to London there was an open audition for Whistle Down the Wind, it was. I think I was 6 when I went up, stood in a queue of a few hundred other young children, and fortunately got the part. So 6 was when I first started really working. I had to do rehearsals, and that show actually got cancelled before it was ever put out. So we did rehearsals for like a couple of months, and then I was told, "Oh, we're actually not performing it." So that was really difficult for a little 6-year-old Tommy.
You had to wait 2 years to make it to the West End. You made it to the West End at age 8.
Yeah, that was the first time I had a performance. I was 8 years old. The Queen's Theatre on Shaftesbury Avenue. I played in Medea. I was Medea's son. Fiona Shaw, who's she's Mrs. Dursley in Harry Potter. If you know her, she was my mother in that. She murdered me.
How many times did you? How many times did Fiona kill you?
60. I think it was 60 odd. Yeah, 60 plus times of being murdered on stage. It was quite a very dark and gruesome story. It was like based on the Greek tragedy of Medea, who falls out with her husband, or Jason from Jason and the Argonauts, and decides to murder his children and burn his girlfriend with a hexed dress that sets her on fire when she wore it.
So then you went into musical. You got a musical next,
right?
Yep.
Yeah. Did a few musicals. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. I did that for a while. I did the Ballet of the Snowman. That was magical. That was like truly like one of the best experiences. I think I was about 10 or 11 when I was doing that, and that was like all with the ballet dancers from the Royal Ballet School, which is like, they're incredible dancers, and they're all dressed up in their snowmen, and I got to fly every night. So I was like hooked up on the harness, doing all of this. And flying across the stage, it was just nuts.
Then
really
there's you with your 2 years of local ballet school experience, with all these Royal Ballet dancers.
Oh yeah, they taught me a thing or two. Like, it was great fun. I remember like when we're having rehearsals and they're having like pirouette offs, where they're like trying to see, they're all in a competition with each other of who can pirouette for the longest, and these guys are doing 60, 70 spins there, and it was quite inspiring, like to learn, the sort of the. What you can do with a human body, I guess. I was really impressed with all of them. It was amazing.
So let's go forward to do some TV, right? And finally get the call for Sarah Jane. Mm-hmm. What was that like You're going into the Doctor Who universe.
So that was initially put to us as just a pilot episode. I never knew what was going to come from it. It was just like here's an episode of a trial show that we're doing. I think I was 12 when I did the audition, and so I wasn't much of a Who fan before. My family were. My mum, and like they'd sit there on Thursday nights and they'd sit and watch it when it was out, and I'd be hiding in my room playing Xbox, and so I didn't really know too much about what I was getting myself into. We got the role. I met Liz, and we started working. The pilot that we shot was just crazy. Like, I had so much fun doing that. It was the weirdest experience of my life.
I do have a question. For that first episode, when they show your tummy and you don't have a belly button.
Yeah.
No, was that prosthetic or? Okay, they made a prosthetic stomach.
So it was a bit about no. It was.
Or they just fill in your.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just like a bit of silicone wax that they shoved into my tummy band, because if you haven't seen it, my character wasn't technically born. He was created by aliens, so he had no need for an umbilical cord. He had no navel. And so they filled it in with a little bit of silicone, and then I think afterwards they just brushed it up with a bit of Photoshop at the end just to smooth it over. But yeah, it was like skin-colored silicone. You'd be surprised, like, the amount of people, like, when it was being aired, all throughout my teenage years, I'd be sitting on a train and somebody would come up to me and be like, "Do you really have no belly button?" And I'd be like, "No, I have a belly button. It's nice to meet you." And they're like, Can I see? I can't tell you the number of people that complete strangers that I've had to show my belly button to. So that was a bit of fun.
I just have, if it was me, I just would have cards made saying, yes, I have a naval.
yeah, yeah. If
There
only
you
that
go.
was that organized.
So what, five?
Five seasons.
Five
yeah,
series,
we
okay.
did a pilot and 5 seasons.
Okay.
We filmed one each one like a year later, so it was really like a 6-year experience of my life, from like 12, 13 years old right up to 18.
And
I was,
you were still doing other stuff because it was, 10 episodes a series, right? So you had time to do other
Well, I was
television,
studying
film?
in school. Yeah,
Okay,
I had
school?
jobs in between as well.
Okay.
Yeah. It was tricky stuff actually. I was doing my like GCSE exams,
Okay.
which is like a UK. Yeah, like maybe about the age of 16. I was doing my exams at that time
Sats.
while we were. Yeah, thank you. While we were filming, and so it was like I remember on one day we were filming it in Wales, and because I'm born in England, I had to do an English exam. I couldn't take it there in Wales, but there was actually a day where I had to wake up at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning, drive cross country to get into England. I took my maths exam there in a school with a bunch of other people, which was in itself a very odd experience. Like I had to step into this school hall and they're all in their school uniforms and there's me in my own clothes, like walking in, sitting at the front to take an exam. And then like 2 hours after that, I was on set and we were filming. So it was quite tough.
You were the youngest of the
cast.
Of the cast, you were the youngest. I think
yeah.
others were 1 or 2 years older than you, right?
I think I was the only one under the age of 18, which
Right.
meant that I couldn't go out drinking with them. Which
That's sad.
yeah. And also because I was under 18 as well, it meant that I had to do tutoring on set. Like there's the law in England, I think, is children actors have to total about 15 hours of tutored education a week. And so in between scenes, they'd be there with a stopwatch. And I'd have to run off into the tutor wagon. They start the stopwatch and go, yep, that's 20 minutes while they turn the cameras around. And you can't learn anything in 20 minutes. So it's a terrible system.
And there's all your friends, your castmates there doing whatever they want.
Danny would be there pulling funny faces through the window and making it an even bigger waste of time.
But remember, I mean, if they had worked before, so they're going, yeah, I've done this before, and now I don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah. Count themselves lucky. Yeah, I mean, I did the same thing as soon as I turned 18. I'm like, ha, 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 to all the children doing their work. I know how that feels.
Yeah. So you finished Sarah Jane, and I think what year was that? That was.
Well, yeah. Ooh, that's a good question.
And then came Victoria.
I think Waterloo Road after that I did for.
Oh, you did Waterloo Road for 2 years.
Yeah.
2 years after that.
Yeah,
Kevin.
we filmed that up in Scotland. So
Okay, so you've gone from Wales up to Scotland now.
Yeah. That was an experience, that show.
What?
Yeah. I played.
So
the
you were
school kid,
18,
basically.
so you could really experience Scotland now.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. We filmed that in quite a small town just outside of Glasgow.
Because I would be in trouble if I was working in Scotland. I would be trying the local product.
The haggis.
No.
The iron brew.
One shot at a time.
The buckfast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was good fun. I was 18. That's when we could drink over in England, and it was like a TV show where I was playing a school kid, and so there was a bunch of other school kids, and they thought it'd be a great idea to put all of us in a block of flats, one above each other, which just turned into debaucherous parties every night.
A bunch of 18-year-old
Yeah.
kids playing 16-year-olds and
His celebrity status and in the local town and a few of your own apartments. They just, if we told them that we were going to go out on a night out, the production company there said, "Oh, look, we'll ring ahead to all of the bars, let them know that you're coming," and then we ended up having we get jump the queues. These bars would be like, "Oh, brilliant! If you could tweet about us, then we'll give you loads of free alcohol." So that was brilliant. Loved that.
I've gotten free alcohol at bars, and it is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I learned my limits the hard way.
Oh God, I learned a lot that night, which lasted a long time after that. So did Waterloo rode for a couple of years, 2-3 years, I think that was.
Yeah, I think it was a good 3 seasons.
Three
I think I
series,
did of that,
and then came Victoria,
Yep.
and that's period piece.
Yeah, that is a completely
And
different
we could
experience.
we could talk about the costumes and how fun it was to be wearing that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, those shoes were very uncomfortable. I think, so it was set in Victorian times, and a lot of the costumes that they made for it were completely based on the originals. Getting dressed in those times was so much effort. You'd have like long understockings up. Yeah. You'd have the belts with like the trousers would have like so many extra buckles on, braces. I don't understand the shirts. The arms on the shirts in Victorian times were so baggy. Like everything, it got in the way. I was constantly getting it dripping, like putting it in wet and getting told off by the costume department.
Well, my favorite episode with you is Green-Eyed Monster. It's the one where you had to run, where you were the messenger between Victoria and Albert.
Oh, yeah.
And you looked like you were working really hard in that episode.
Oh, that's acting.
Oh, God. Up and running up those stairs in those shoes.
I tell you, the sets that they had for Victoria was just incredible. There was like an old RAF hangar that they had, like an airport hangar, and they'd built to scale. Based off of the original floorpan, all the rooms of Buckingham Palace, like an entire floor of it. So they had ballroom to corridor, filled with chandeliers, and to like drawing rooms, bedrooms, and I'd never been on a set as big as that. Like I'd been in studio sets before, but this thing was just incredible. But also where it was put in an aircraft hangar, there was enough holes for birds to get in often. So in every morning, you could see them scrubbing the bird poop off of the set. Like I think in some of the shots, you can actually see like little bits of bird poo on some of the paintings behind that they weren't quite able to get off.
I mean, but we could talk about could talk about the male wear in Victoria, but about the females did not like their costumes.
Oh yeah, the corsets and that the girls had. That was I think in the first season they used like real corsets for all of it, and I think there was quickly a union with all the girls saying, "No, we are lightheaded constantly. We can't focus. This is not on." Yeah.
The Queen was not amused. I think it was Jenna that led the revolt on that, wasn't it? On the corsets.
And I think they ended up with making fake ones that looked just as good. So they should have started with that.
And they're actors. They could sit up straight without the corset.
Exactly. They acted like it was a real corset.
That's what they explained, I think, to the showrunners on that, is that we don't need real corsets to sit up straight. We're actors.
I'm sure the method actors out there would disagree, but yeah. For us regular folk.
So now, a couple of years, last year you decided to take a break, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it was sort of like when the pandemic came.
Okay.
I think where I started acting at such a young age, I sort of fell into it. It wasn't quite where I always wanted my life to go. It was like the sort of thing. I was so lucky to have the experiences that I had, but I was riding the wave essentially, and I knew that eventually I'd be doing something else. I wasn't quite sure what it was. But yeah, when the pandemic finished, I spent a lot of time like modding games and doing stuff like that. So I realized that I've got quite a passion for coding. I'm like a bit of a hermit as well. I like to sit at home on my own most of the time. So yeah, I've started doing web development. I'm really enjoying that. Yeah.
So if anyone needs a good website of you people out there, you people out there, and you people out there and watching us on the stream, Tommy's available.
Am I?
I think
quite busy at the moment.
I think you are. I think you've been
okay.
looking for some.
Thanks.
I think you've been looking because you've been doing freelance. You're looking for some salary work too, aren't you? So I'm just trying to get your name out there.
Brilliant.
Yes.
You do a better job than I do.
Okay. So is this a break, or are you going to get, because you're doing some stuff now, right? You're doing on and off?
Yeah. I think if things are offered to me, then I think I'm a fool to turn down a free easy job. But it's essentially I think something really changed in the pandemic, which was about like the auditioning style. I noticed it used to all be face to face, and I could meet a casting director and talk about, before we would do a scene together, I could ask questions and this sort of thing. And when the pandemic came, it's almost strictly you have to self-tape now. And I found that actually gave me incredible amounts of anxiety. Like, I'm not good at watching myself, judging myself, everything that I feel like I could do better. And that sort of became the focus of the job now. I realized that that's sort of the time for me to shut the door. I couldn't.
So you would do 20 takes of the same read, and you would be satisfied with none of them.
None of them. It'd be like, okay, I'll try again tomorrow, and then the next day I'm just, it was hot. It wasn't good for me. It wasn't good for me.
Yeah.
So, glad to not do that anymore.
So there's a chat show host in the U.S. Has a show on at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central Time. Named Stephen Colbert.
Oh, yeah?
And he has a theory that there's 15 questions that will get to the soul of any person. It's called the Colbert Questionnaire.
Oh, wow. Okay, I've not heard of this.
Okay, so we're going to do that right now.
Okay.
Okay, number one.
Prepare to see my soul.
Oh, here we go. Best sandwich.
Sorry?
Best sandwich.
Oh, like a grilled cheese.
One thing that you own that you really should throw out. See?
I'm quite minimalistic, actually. I don't have a lot. Maybe like some, maybe some old pants that I've had their age. Yeah.
What is the scariest animal?
The scariest animal? Ooh. Maybe like a snake.
Okay. Apples or oranges?
Oranges.
Have you ever asked anyone for their autograph?
You can share them. For their autograph. When I was in Disneyland, I had a Mickey Mouse autograph book, but I think that's it.
What do you think happens when we die?
I think we dream.
Okay. Favorite action movie?
Oh, that's a favorite action movie. I feel on the spot here. Can I say Lord of the Rings?
It's action.
It's action fantasy, isn't it?
Action.
Like the
Action.
Return of the
Yeah,
King, the theater. Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite smell?
Favorite smell?
Favorite smell?
Lavender.
Least favorite smell?
Can't say that.
I don't see. No, there's no cyber mites. There's no mites here. Oh, there might be cyber mites online. I'm sorry.
Least favorite smell? Hospitals?
Exercise, worth it?
Yeah.
Flat or sparkling?
Flat.
Most used app on your telephone?
Spotify.
You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
Ooh. Something without singing, probably. Maybe The Well-Tempered Clavier.
Oh, okay. What number am I thinking of?
2.
Wrong. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words.
In 5 words. I don't know. Happy, laid back. Is laid back 1 word or 2? Happy, laid back, fruitful, and filled with kindness.
Okay, there we go. That is the Colbert Questionnaire, done by Tommy Knight.
Thank you.
Do we have any we have lots of time.
How did my soul look?
Your soul is very nice. What do you think? Does he have a beautiful soul?
Thank you.
That's right.
Can we flip it? Can I give you the 15 questions? Yeah.
There you go.
Nice one, nice one. Okay. Okay, question 1, best sandwich.
Reuben.
Ooh, that is a good one. Number 2, what's one thing you own that you should really throw out?
Oh, God. I do have an old 32-inch TV taking up space, and it should really get rid of it.
Yeah, I think you should. What is the scariest animal?
Scariest animal? Scorpion.
Ooh, apples or oranges?
I'm an apple guy.
Okay. Have you ever asked someone for their autograph?
Lots of times. Has
in the
anyone
right
ever
place.
asked me for my autograph? No.
Give me 5 minutes. What do you think happens when we die?
You're peaceful, and you get to see everyone cry about you.
Favorite action movie?
My favorite action movie is The Terminator.
Oh, that's a good one. Favorite smell?
Apples.
Oh, least favorite smell?
Socks.
Depends whose socks. Exercise, worth it?
Very
Flat or sparkling?
flat.
Most used app on your phone?
Twitter.
You get one song to listen to for the rest of your life. What is it?
Beethoven's Ninth. The whole thing.
Oh, yeah. What number am I thinking of?
72?
No, it was 2. Describe the rest of your life in 5 words.
30 nice years of bliss.
Oh, what a soul. What a soul. I love it.
Okay, let's open it up to questions from the audience. Do we have anyone rushing to the microphone? Come on. Oh, there we go. Does someone want to help with the microphone there?
Didn't realize that part. Okay. Maybe.
I can hear you.
Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, yes. So I didn't actually think, I found out about this last week, so I didn't think I'd actually ever see you in person. So very fun, thank you. But my question is this, I've always wanted to know, in the episode where like the Daleks are attacking and you and Sarah are there saving the world with K9 and all that stuff, when she hugs you and says, but he's only 13, is it kind of a joke because the Daleks are only kind of scary?
I think so.
Like, were they like, ha ha ha, hilarious? We can say, he's only 13, because it's the, you know what I mean? Or
I think, no, I think he's only 13 is, wait.
because I mean, the Daleks can be shot easily, which is funny.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? Like, they're Daleks.
Yeah.
So
I'm not
Get
sure.
rid of them just by plunging something in that
That's what
eye
I
of
mean.
theirs.
I'm trying to remember the moment, actually. I'm struggling with that as well. So we're hugging in the attic.
Yeah, and
We're
like
being attacked by the Daleks.
you're being you just discovered that they're Daleks. So
Yep.
like Jack Barrowman says like, oh no, we're screwed, we're gonna die, and then Liz says, but he's only 13, and like kisses her head or something.
He's only
And I've always
13.
wondered if it was like they made such a big deal of their entrance because it's kind of a joke,
Yeah.
but also kind of not a joke. No, not. It's in Doctor Who. Like
It's in the episode.
in the actual
yeah.
episode.
Yeah, it's in Doctor Who.
Doctor
yeah.
Who.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's in Doctor Who.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. But I'm trying. I don't know why she said why. I don't know what. I can't remember why.
So it
because
wasn't
I'm
like-
older than 13, so she's obviously not. I'm
No,
younger. Sorry,
she's-
I'm younger than 13 is what I mean.
Okay.
Because Luke was born, only a few
Made.
years old. Yeah, yeah. He was
Made.
made, wasn't he? He certainly wasn't 13 years old. I'll get back to you on that one.
I would just love to know because
I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna Google that tonight.
I feel
and
like it's
I'm gonna have an
inside
answer for
joke.
you tomorrow.
Okay, that would be great. Thank
No
you.
problem, no
I've
problem.
always wanted
Sorry
to
about
know.
that.
Cool. No, no
Let's go back to Sarah Jane.
question.
What was your favorite episode? What is your favorite story of the series, of the whole thing?
I guess the pilot was the most magical.
That was,
There's a single moment at the end of it that was the largest explosion that they'd had on CBBC at the time. It was the Bain factory was an old building that was due to be demolished.
Yep.
And they rigged it up with so many explosives. I was so excited.
I remember that.
We were warned before. We have one take. We can only do this once. You cannot mess this up. And it was a shot of like me, Liz, Yasmin, Danny. We come running out of the building across this car park, and they blow up behind us. They had loads of cameras all set up, and the explosion was so powerful that the concrete on the floor that we were running across shifted about a foot, and you could see next to the building that it like curled up away from the floor, and you see all of us fall down. And if you look really closely, you can actually see Elizabeth go. So much for one take.
I mean, you get these kind of shows where there's explosions in the background and people are diving, and it looks so fake, and you go, oh, but no. That's really the feeling you get. It's pushing you.
That was legit. We all fell down because of how big it was.
The backlash from the explosion is just pushing you.
Like a shockwave.
A shock, yeah.
Hey.
So a few years ago, we had Farewell Sarah Jane. Are there any projects or thoughts about more stories involving Luke and Sky and Clyde in them going forward?
Not that I know of, not that I've heard of. Plenty that I think are wished for. I think it's great that Luke has K9 still, so he's still there. There is still like a lot of relevance, or a lot of storylines that you could branch out from that. But I haven't heard anything.
So you're waiting for that call from Big Finish Productions to come do something, right?
Yeah. I won't turn them down.
Oh, we got a question from streaming.
Hey.
From our online, question from John and Julie. What was your favorite alien bad guy in the Sarah Jane Adventures?
I think my favorite was we had like a baby Slitheen, and I think the baby Slitheen was just the cutest bit of prosthetics I've ever seen in my life. The actor who we had in it, his name was Jimmy V.
Yeah,
and oh my gosh, what a character that guy was. Apparently he's a little guy, and apparently he was like, I want to say like maybe under 4 foot, but he was a bouncer as well in his spare time for a local club. But he had like ear piercings, and he was a tough nut. And he'd say it was like probably one of the best ways to work out if he was a good person or a bad person coming into the club, whether they'd make a comment or make a joke about him, and that would be his line to be like, nope, you're not coming in. I thought it was just hilarious. There's my mum has one of my favourite pictures that I've ever seen, and it was him where he's got the mask is off. And there's somebody there lighting his cigarette for him. So he's in the full Slitheen costume with these huge claws. So it was the little Slitheen costume. And he's sitting there like he's got his neck up like this, and he's trying to smoke his cigarette. It's just, it's so funny to me.
Speaking of that, I love the twist in The Lost Boy with the skinny Slitheen. Because because you never saw, with the, because in Doctor Who and in the first story in Sarah Jane, there were traditional fat people in the suit.
Yeah.
And the skinny Slitheen surprised me so much.
Yeah.
And that was a great twist.
Brilliant,
I loved that, and it was awesome. Bruce.
Yeah, when David Tennant was leaving the show and he did his last farewell tour, and he saved you from the car. I understand that that's a very difficult thing for actors to do because you're trained to look both ways, and you needed to not do that.
Yeah. I mean, if there's enough tape on the camera roll, eventually I'll get there. But yeah, I think there is certain funny things like that you have in the job that are like instinctively how you want to treat something. But, just through rigorous training, I was able to look one way.
Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you very much.
I got another question, I see.
Hi.
Hey.
I just wanted to know, like, what you thought you think of the similarities and differences between acting on stage and like acting like for camera.
Yeah. Although they are the same craft, they give such a different experience, like from the actor's point of view. I think personally that I often preferred stage work. I think having an applause at the end of the night.
Sure.
You go home with such a feeling of like that you've done a good job, and like if you've done a good job or not.
Right.
There's a lot more pressure as well, which I kind of enjoyed in the theatre. You spend a lot more time doing rehearsals before, so you have more time to sort of bond and get in tune with the scenes, and I always really enjoyed that aspect to it. But the TV life was a lot more laid back. You get picked up, you get driven places, you're paid better, and you have food there on set, and so it was. I felt like I didn't work as hard doing TV as I did doing theatre, and so I think it was a lot more gratifying doing theatre work personally for me. Yeah.
And the other thing is, you don't have to share a dressing room on TV, right? Everyone.
No. Well,
Did you have to share?
Yeah, I've shared plenty of
Okay.
dressing rooms. Yeah, that was that. We actually had an actors' strike in Waterloo Road once because because of they done it really funny, and some of us were sharing a dressing room with 5 people, and somebody else was having one dressing room all to themselves.
Oh.
That was bigger than the one we were sharing, and that was not on.
Well, the last show I was in, it was 10 guys, one dressing room, and it was not fun.
Gets a bit smelly.
Oh God! And it was Shrek. It was Shrek the musical.
Oh wow,
And
very green.
he's putting his green stuff on. I'm putting my green stuff on. I played the dad that sings at the beginning, and then I played Big Bad Wolf. So I get all my stuff off and get into
Throw the fur on.
put the costume on and try, because it's not a lot of time between those two, and luckily I didn't have to go back to the dressing room for that.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Question.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, when I watch shows, I like to think about how things work. And the one thing when I watched Sarah Jane Adventures was watching Mr. Smith open and all of that.
Yeah.
Was that just a prop from A Nightmare, or did it work rather smoothly, or how many takes did you have to do on that?
So it looked a lot cooler on TV. I'll start with that.
I figured, right?
Yeah. It was. I think it was done with hydraulics to open up, so it was automatically done. It wasn't like 2 guys behind pushing it open. Yeah. I think it was like hydraulics, and then we have little bits of steam like hissing out. That was a great it was essentially just a TV behind like a wall that opened up. I think actually. No, it was all done on its own. It was like a button press, and the whole thing all worked together. Yeah.
So you had to imagine the noise. You had to imagine the noise though, because
that all came in.
That was all put in post-production.
All right, yeah. So the noise of it was very noisy, very loud. We couldn't talk while he was opening as well, because then they wouldn't be able to record the dialogue or get any cleanness of that. I think there was often once or twice where it would one of the doors would wiggle like this as they're opening. They're like, okay, yeah, we're gonna have to redo that. One of the worst props actually that we worked with, funnily enough, was Canine. That little dog could not do his job properly. Any scene that's like out on concrete, if they need to brush like his entire path before, because if there was anything as small as like a tooth of like a stone on the floor, it'd catch onto it and you'd hear it, and he'd start spinning in circles. So if you're walking along doing a scene and you need to respond to him, you'd sometimes look down and he's like 2 foot behind you spinning in circles. there was other times where the side panels just weren't connected properly, so you'd like lean down to hug him, and like just the metal could fall off, and you'd see all his innards.
So, I'd like to see you and Tom and Lolly get together and have your canine stories about.
Yeah, so I think we actually had an original K9 like on our show as well, which was just brilliant to know that it was like still had the same original wiring. It was like you don't want to update that, no, like you don't want to give him a nice.
No, did you have someone off stage reading the lines, or did John come in and do the lines in the voice?
So I actually only met John a couple of times. Yeah, I think it was once or twice he was there on set, but for the most part it was somebody reading in. Yeah. I got to meet him at the read-throughs. He'd always be there on the read-throughs.
Okay.
And he was fantastic. Yeah, he was absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
So some people already mentioned some of my favorite episodes, but another one was, I think it's called Day of the Clowns with the circus.
Bradley
And-
Walsh, I think,
showing
played the
that
clown.
one.
Yeah, so that one, and then also the one with the carnival. But I'm just wondering if you could talk any about maybe one of those or both.
So yeah, that was brilliant. I think that was the what was his name? Was it the Trickster? I think. Or something
Another
like
Trickster one.
that. Yeah.
The Trickster came around a lot, didn't he? During the run, he came in series 1 with Whatever Happened to Sarah Jane,
Yep.
and with the marriage of Sarah Jane,
Yep.
the wedding of Sarah Jane,
Yep.
and then a couple
no,
other times.
sorry, was that-
Trickster was there.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that I love doing that. A lot of my friends actually had chlorophobia. Like he actually had a fear of clowns. So when one of my friends found out about that one, he was not excited. He was a friend, yeah, really not excited about that.
What was you had that was your recurring monster? That wasn't a recurring monster for any of the other.
Yeah, it was original, wasn't it,
It
for
was
Sarah
your
Jane, yeah.
recurring monster for Sarah Jane, and that I like that you didn't have to borrow anything from someone else that
Yeah.
became recurring. I like that the Trickster was one of my
Yeah,
favorite.
yeah,
Was
yeah,
a good,
yeah.
great monster. I wish they just would have brought him over to Doctor Who after that. Then I mean, but they didn't. But
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, it was always. I think it was nice. We had like a nice mix of the monsters that we
Yeah.
had.
But you
We
had
had
your-
like Sontarans as
Yep.
well, and like having like some sort of like classic Who ones. Really, I felt like gave a lot of validation to the show, because I think there was also that like nervousness of like Doctor Who is such a big important thing, and to have a spin-off of it is like a lot of pressure. Like, because it's such a big title to live up to or to be a part of. And so, yeah, every time that we had, a cameo from something from Who, it was super exciting. And I mean, even when we found out that we were having David Tennant
Yeah,
on
yeah,
with us,
David,
was
and
like,
then- and
that's
then-
like, yes, finally. Like,
Yes.
yeah, now all of the Who the big Who fans, they're all going to come and watch this. And like, yeah, that was super exciting.
Eleanor.
Hi.
Hi.
One of the things noteworthy about Luke is he's like a genius kid. He's different from other kids. He doesn't always fit in. I'm wondering, some fans view him as Aspie or autistic or other neurodivergent representation. What are your thoughts on that?
So, I think when I initially started playing Luke, I was unaware of or any sort of spectrum or anything. I was quite young. In my audition, I remember Russell was there, and I remember talking to him in the audition. And I said, of the film I'd watched most recently was AI, the Haley Joel Osment film. And I said, I kind of thought I'd play it a little bit like that. And he was like, bingo. He was like, that's sort of exactly the sort of vibe is where it's like, quite a social detachment. So I initially kind of, placed it as he's like a computing robot, essentially. He's like got the intelligence of 10,000 people. So he's going to, he's not going to be a conventional person. And I sort of based him, on the idea of a robot. I think as it developed more and Luke learned more how to socialize, that I sort of added a bit more humanity to him. But I think initially the idea was to just have him, quite unempathic.
I think Clyde's main job, he saw his main job, other than assisting Sarah, was to get Luke
Emotional development.
emotional development. Yes.
Yeah.
I when you see the how you guys bond, how you guys did stuff on the show together, you could see Clyde trying to bring it with the skateboarding and stuff like that, just trying to bring Luke into humanity.
Yeah. I have had a lot of really nice feedback from some fans who like grew up with Sarah Jane, who are on the spectrum, and how Luke, as an outside character, it was like a, you know, like an awakening to them in a sense of like, or like they were able to relate to it a lot, and that's always like, that's really touching to know that I was able to, you know, play a character that really did make a difference to quite a few people's lives, like in their childhood, and help them out. It's like, that's such a great feeling.
I think we have a question from a Hufflepuff.
So you're 29 right now, and
Yeah.
I was wondering, what are
2 more days.
What are your I was gonna say, what are your plans for your 30th birthday?
Oh, just hope it passes quickly.
I'm taking him down to the bar and just supplying him with liquid.
Yeah, I'm not a big birthday person. Christmas is my time for gifts and joy and celebration. Yeah, for an actor, I don't really like the attention.
And then I had a second question.
Yeah.
So you originally said that you weren't, when you started like acting on Sarah Jane, you weren't into Doctor Who. After you started, did you get more into the series, or?
Yeah, I think it was around maybe. I can't remember how old I was when I did the first sci-fi convention. Was really when I went, wow! Like I had no idea that they had Doctor Who conventions just for Doctor Who, and so I went to one of these, and there was just a huge number of people that had like watched the show, and they were so excited, and they were all dressed up, and that was like the dawning to me to be like, wow, I've really stepped into a universe here.
And
like this thing is way bigger than I ever imagined.
As big as it is here in America, I mean, you were in England for or was it England, Scotland?
Yeah, England. Yeah.
You were in England for that first convention. What was like stepping on there as a guest of honor and doing all this kind of stuff?
It told me I need to do some research, and because a lot of these people are asking me questions about Doctor Who, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. I was playing Xbox when that one was on.
I'm in a spin-off. I'm not in the big show. Come on.
Yeah. No, my family are all big Who fans. They all watched it religiously. I have caught up since then. I'm not up to date. I think I haven't really watched since Matt. I shouldn't be saying these things. I love it. I love it.
I mean, a lot of people that watch the Chibnall stuff saying that might be a good idea, but
yeah, no, I went back and watched a lot of the old Who's as well because just to sort of learn who Liz was, and like to, you know, the people that come up to me and say like, you know, she's my hero, and like there were like people going, you look after Liz for me, and like being very serious, and I'm like, oh, don't worry, I will.
okay, when you saw some of the stuff with Tom Baker and Liz, what did you think of her clothing?
I mean, she's gorgeous, isn't
I know.
she? Yeah.
But some of the stuff she was wearing was a little different. But she was stylish.
Yeah. No,
in her own way.
I thought it was just brilliant. Like because I'd like watched when I got the Sarah Jane Adventures, like I watched a little bit, but not enough to sort of be invested in her character, just to see what Sarah Jane was like as a companion. And so yeah, when I went up, well, like after the convention started, and I went back and really watched all of her series. I loved her even more.
I mean, yeah. Well, when I first started watching I'm dating myself. She was the companion She was my first companion watching Doctor Who, and when she left, I was sad. Left her out in the street and took off, and I was very sad because, you know, I spent all this time watching Sarah Jane help the Doctor solve problems, and it was great when she came back. Well, she came back in the Five Doctors to work with John, being John's companion, going back to her original thing. But when the series came, I was very happy.
I bet.
Yeah, it was awesome. We have about 10 more minutes. Do we have anyone else want to ask a question?
Well, I just wanted to mention that I thought the Gorgons were really good. That was a really good one. And then they mentioned something about the sound of music in there, and it's like there's a funny joke and stuff. Do you have any remembrance of what it was like doing that one?
Yeah, so yeah, that was crazy fun with the nuns. I remember I actually have I have like a funny memory of. I was like, I think there's a scene where I get bundled into a car with all of these nuns, and that was like it was. What was it like? Oh, sorry, I'm stuttering.
It took you, when they.
Yeah. But when we were filming it, I remember like jumping into the car, and I turned around, and I was supposed to go Clyde as I'm like banging on the thing, and instead I went Danny as we're driving off. It was like one of the first times I think that I'd ever actually done that, of like calling an actor by his real name. That's probably my favourite memory of filming those bits. That one made it into the gag reel that they showed in the after parties.
That was yep.
Yeah, good
one
fun.
on the gag
those
reel.
Gorgons were creepy. I actually had the Gorgon's hand prosthetic in my house for until a little while ago. I think it got a bit mouldy. But I had that, and I also had the Nightmare Man. Was it the Nightmare Man on the Trickster's face?
Oh, the Trickster's face.
Yeah. I had that prosthetic as well, and yoinks that.
That was
Yeah.
Trickster was, oh god.
Yeah, creepy.
Yeah, getting that void.
Can you tell us about either your first time meeting Liz or your first time acting in a scene with her?
See, that is a hazy memory of the actual first time meeting her. I think it was during a script read-through. My memories of the first time was like filming that pilot episode with her, and she was so kind. Like, that's what I remember the most about her, was like just the kindness that she had. She was like just very excited I was young, naive. I didn't really know what was going on, and I'm just like happy to be here. Like, I'm the sort of person, they say jump, I'm like, how high? That's me. And so she really kind of took me under her wing. Like, she was always looking out for me. She'd tell me off a lot because I was a naughty little so-and-so. We bonded straight away. It was we became really close, and as the seasons went on, I became close with her and her family, Brian and Sadie, and I was very fortunate to be visit them, and she was incredible to work with. It was really nice.
You spent a lot of time in that first episode strapped to a board.
Yeah.
Well,
that was embarrassing.
How fun was that, huh?
That was my costume wasn't my favorite costume I've ever had to wear. That. Oh yeah.
Oh.
So one of the first things we were filming was it was like a scene, and we were outside the front of Sarah Jane's house, and I can't remember what we were doing, but we were on the driveway of Bannerman Road, and just down the road of where they were filming was a secondary school. So at about 3:00, maybe about 200 children come walking down, and there's me standing in a dress, and the next thing I know is they're all behind the camera, all filming it, laughing. So I think that was the last day I ever felt shame. That was it. It peaked then. I was like, well, in for a penny, in for a pound.
Oh, we got another question there.
Yeah, so I know you're not doing as much with television, but is there any like theater roles that you would love to do?
No.
Or, like on live stage?
No. I'd really my main goal at the moment is to get this mythical word that scares most actors, but I want a salary. That's essentially my main goal at the moment. Is I just want to have I want to be able to budget for a year. I've never been able to do that.
Like
you
a
don't know.
cubicle,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just a bit too up and down, I think, for me. I'm hunting for that consistency in life. Like I say, if there are any offers, I'll take it. But I'm not hunting for that actually at the moment. The acting life. Yeah.
Well, here comes another question.
Yeah.
If you could travel anywhere in the Tardis with any doctor, which era in history or place in space or person you'd want to meet, what would you choose? Oh, and you get up to 3 companions, too.
Okay.
Jane, right?
Yeah. Obviously, as me and Sarah Jane would be there. I guess I'd go with David Tennant. From meeting him, he was in. I've never met a man with more charisma He's just a ball of energy to be around with, and he gets you so excited to just do anything. So, yeah, me, Liz, David, we'd hop in the Tardis, and I'd like to see the meteor that destroyed the dinosaurs, I think. I'd like to see the landscape just before, see it in the sky. I wonder what it looked like. And then hop in just before it hits us.
Yeah, but it's the TARDIS, so you'd never know if it's gonna
Yeah.
get out of there in
I
time.
have faith in the Doctor.
So we're getting to the end, and I want to talk about one thing about Victoria, because you're the first person we see in that whole show.
Yeah, the first line.
You have the first line.
Not bad.
He's coming, and something about wearing black.
He's got a black armband on his right hand.
Yes.
Yeah, on his right arm.
Yeah, so that must have been okay. You're without you, this whole thing doesn't come into.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far.
Oh, come on, Archibald Brody is
Legend. That was my character.
he ended up
that was my
being
character
the dresser a little bit for the prince.
Yeah.
You see him putting the
that-
prince's clothes on.
Doing a period drama was so much different to the Waterloo Road, which was a series I'd filmed before.
Okay.
They often judge like a filming set on like how many pages they do in a day, and I think like Waterloo Road we'd maybe do about two or three pages of filming in a day. And then you go on to a period drama and it suddenly cuts down to about half a page. It's like how much they expect to do in a day just because of, I guess because it was higher budget, they just could spend a lot more time on the shots. They'd have like, to make it look old style, they'd often use smoke machines as like an effect. And so we'd constantly be waiting for that. The whole thing slowed down, like costumes and everything, sorry.
I'd like to talk about doing the dressing scenes. I have hard enough time buttoning my own buttons.
Oh, yeah.
Now, doing Tom's button, doing Tom's clothes up.
So
how hard was that? I mean,
so actually, what their buttons would be on a different side
Okay,
if you're getting
yeah.
dressed by somebody.
Yeah.
Because if I'm
so
dressing
it's
you
almost
this-
like the woman's.
Yeah, like a blouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
one's
yeah.
blouse.
It was switched around, so it's easier for somebody to do up their
Okay.
buttons. Yeah, so it's fine. Also, with the power of of television, I think the cravats and everything were all pretty much pre-done for me. I'm not very good at doing a bow tie.
Oh God. But I mean, I thought it was spectacular. Like the whole thing, the whole vastness of the series was excellent. Now, did you guys you didn't do it to Scotland because Archibald usually stayed in Buckingham, right?
Yeah.
So you didn't go to Scotland or anything.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I
Oh.
went to Scotland. Yeah. I learned how to Cayley dance, which is
Oh,
the
that's right. He
traditional
was in
Scottish
some of that
dance.
scene.
Yeah.
Because
That was
he's the one that lost Albert and Victoria, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was Archibald that lost them, right? You were supposed to keep an
I
eye.
think so. I never watched it.
I think you were supposed to keep an.
been a
Oh, we got
while.
a question from the ether.
I know we don't have very much time left, but Tommy, could you tell us what is your favorite memory about being an actor and the thing you would pass on to others?
So I think my best memories have been from conventions, maybe, or I think it's when you can have the direct connection with somebody who's appreciated it. That's when I've felt the best. I remember, some of my first conventions, and I never took myself seriously really in any way, and so to have a 40 or 50-year-old man come up to a table and be too shy to look me in the eye and just want to thank me for the job that I've done, and he'll extend a shaky hand and he'll be so nervous to meet me. It was just I had no idea the sort of impact that you can have from reading your lines, standing in the right place and putting on a pretty smile. I think I never saw how much bigger than me it really was. And so, yeah, I think that's been my best experiences has just been, seeing the joy that it can bring to other people. That brings me joy.
I've had a great hour. This hour's gone by. Tommy, thanks for coming to Minnesota. Thanks for being
it's a
here
pleasure.
at the
It's a
convention. And we'll see you, everyone, tomorrow for more of this fun stuff.
Thanks for tuning in. Thank you. Are we off?